Early July 1924, near the town of Kelso, Oregon, Fred Beck shot a mountain devil. The creature we now call
Fred.
Bigfoot.
Fred?
You don't want to know what I've just seen. It's Mountain Devil.
Mountain Devil! You've been having too much of this moonshine. You want a little snort? They look like Fred. They have horns. Was it a boy or a girl, Fred?
I blasted it.
The animal fell into a ravine. Its body was never recovered. The miners slept off the events of their day.
You shot that critter, Fred! Now they're gonna kill us all! All black to Mary! All right!
It's a far-fetched story. Men attacked and even injured by irate giant apes in the USA, yet it was taken seriously, reported on the front page of the state newspaper alongside the world news. Could there really be a giant ape living in North America? Well, since Beck's encounter, Bigfoot has grown to be big news, but there's still no body, no skin and bones. And this is Bigfoot country. These remote forests run all the way from Alaska to California, 55,000 square kilometers of incredibly productive habitat. You know, I've never seen anywhere quite so unspoilt and fertile. Not much goes hungry here, and it was once the happy hunting ground of the Quagil Indians. Their name for Bigfoot was Bookwus.
The Bookwus is not really mythical. It's an actual being that's taller than a man, covered in hair.
What do they live on? How do they coexist with deer, bears, all of the other known animals of this region?
They live on a lot of plant life, fruit and vegetables, seafood, clams and so forth. But they are known to harvest deer and to harvest salmon as well in the rivers.
How often are they seen? I mean, are they seen every year?
I live out here 6 months of the year, every year, for the last 5 or 6 years, and you're lucky to hear of a story once every 3 or 4 years. So they're very rare, but like our legends say, they live in an invisible house deep in the forest. That's why we can't find them. And they're also nocturnal. They're out at night harvesting their foods.
And that is interesting. No nocturnal apes are yet known to science. They haven't got good enough night vision. But for Tom Seward here, the legend is backed up by an encounter.
In 1993, I went into an anchorage behind my ancestral village with my 3 crew, and just after dark, we heard whistling coming from the shore. And we hit the switch on the spotlight, and there it was, a male and a female, and she automatically dropped into a fetal position, and the male at the same time dropped down to his knees and brought his arm up in front of his face, and you could see the reflection of his eyes, the green reflection from the spotlight. And they just stayed there for 15 or 20 minutes. I had the spotlight on them, and they froze. They did not move. But what I saw on that beach that night was, there was no way it would have been a black or a grizzly bear. I've seen blacks and grizzlies stand. No way could anyone ever say this is a bear to me, because I knew what I saw. It was definitely a Bookwus walking across the beach.
Tom's animal is a potent symbol, a rich subject for a professional storyteller like him. And this culture stretches back hundreds of years, which is also strange, because here in North America there's no fossil evidence for any ape species except man. Bookwus, Bigfoot, doesn't have a history. So does it have a family, a mate, siblings, offspring? All species have to exist in populations. What would such a population of apes need? Well, taking mountain gorillas as an example, they need food and enough space to harvest it. These groups need ranges of up to 30 square kilometres. There are around 600 mountain gorillas. They're critically endangered and live in small pockets high in the jungles. They were discovered way back in 1902, and these days we know every individual. So it seems that even the shyest, the most remote populations of apes have trouble hiding from science. How often do people come across Bigfoot? A fellow called John Green has logged over 3,000 encounters in the last 30 years. And one, clearly the most remarkable, comes with a piece of film. You may have already seen it. It was shot by the late Roger Patterson and his mate Bob Gimlin in California in October of 1967. And sitting here watching it with John is pretty remarkable. He knew these guys.
This is the start of the roll that they eventually got the picture of the creature on, yes. They're just riding their horses up the bed of Bluff Creek.
Is that Patterson himself?
Yes, that is, although usually you'll be seeing Bob Gilman because Patterson did most of the shooting.
He'd been making this film for some time. Was he much of a cameraman?
Strictly amateur. There's Bob now with the pack horse.
By any standards, it's a bit of a home movie, but then, with just a minute left on the film, it changes dramatically. So this was taken immediately after they saw it?
As soon as Roger got off the horse and got the camera out, yes.
Whatever your first impression of this footage, there's no in-camera trickery. We've examined the original, and something really walked in front of Patterson's camera. And let's be clear about one thing. This footage either has to be a hoax or the most important piece of wildlife film ever.